Okay, are we live? Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday weekly astrology forecast and then tarot for that forecast. So not only am I doing tarot for all 12 signs, but to make it very relevant and to make it very specific and accurate for all of you, it's based off what the energy astrologically is going to be anyway, so that whenever, whether it be astrology or I'm calling back all my power to me now from anyone using it with or without my permission. So whether we're predicting with any divination, astrology, we still need to predict within the context. And so by doing the weekly forecast, hi Kina, hi Shauna, hi Syra, hi Juan and Little John and Maricela. By predicting within the context, obviously it can get more accurate and more specific. But what I concentrate on for the weekly forecast, and by all means, if you haven't heard me say her name ad nauseum by now, please go follow Lori Rivers, whether that's on TikTok. I highly recommend the Patreon because that's where you're going to get the good, juicy stuff. But good morning, James. She's going to give you what it's going to feel like in the collective and how that can pan out possibly with weather and all kinds of things, as well as some personal. I really focus on how the average Joe and Jane can use the astrology for the week to kind of plan out their week. You know, the way that I have the video titled is Eat and Leave No Crumbs. Like, this is the week that we have ahead astrologically. You can fight City Hall, and I highly recommend you do, but you can't fight with the planets are going to planet. And right now we have some really strong, intense conversations between them. And no one can make that not be happening. Now, can you have an amazing week in your own chart? Sure. You know, I do personal. If you've never seen me before, you absolutely can get a personal, both I have hour and half hour forecast for yourself for a month, a year, whatever. However, I'm trying to find someplace. She's got to go there. However, you can come by here every week and get a little clue. And then I am going to pull specifically. So last week it was about like whatever the thing is that you want and you're supposed to go after. It's what was possible, like how is there something possibly in your own way that you can move, and what are you not aware about that's going to also help you move towards what you want, right? So what is internal and what is external, and that is like I do tarot a little differently. And speaking of which, please be checking back or on the Awake Space, the tarot workshops and courses, and the highest level of course will actually come with a certification, and I will talk about how to synthesize, how to look at timing, how to have your relationship with clients not only be ethical, but how you converse with them so that you can get a quality answer for them, by letting them know how to ask questions. We will also go over why tarot is so imperative for creating language with your guides. And even if you're not going to do it professionally, how that can bust open your gifts, and also not feeling confused. Like, no one wants to feel like, I know my guides are talking to me, but it sounds like Beaker from the Muppets going, bah, 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 bah. To be able to really get down your languaging and understanding with your guides, tarot can be absolutely the easiest way to get there. And I've been doing that for years and showing other people. So that is going to be part of the highest course, the more intensive. And we'll have it for like, just to get into it, really inexpensive. The first, it will be a 1-night workshop that will launch for like $20, like nothing. And then move up, if you want to the more intensive courses. So that will be probably within the next 14, 15 days, where it will be announced. And I think that it will be, you'll be able to sign up either on my website or on the Awake Space. Lori has just been amazing because she is the curriculum course queen. That is not my forte. It is not my strong point yet, but she has been amazing to help. Okay. I don't think I have any other announcements. I think we will do Pluto on Wednesday, which I'm very excited for. And Saturday, I was thinking about doing, and I want membership. And also, if you want to join membership, there's a lot of good content in membership, but we do a lot of cool stuff. So the thing that I just want to know from everybody, whether you're in the live and you can just say yes to the moon protocols, or leave me a comment if you're watching this later. And thank you, replay viewers, because you guys are the ish. It's where I get most of my views from. And I also love the live chat. So I was thinking of doing a video within membership, and it could be a live stream so people could ask questions, but I would go through the next 6 months of lunations, every full moon, every new moon. And I would look at the transits and then give you protocols for crystals, water, the timing on water, what you should use that moon water for, what you should not use it for, what crystals could go out, when nothing should go out, when you should stay your ass in your house. So you guys are all so sweet. So if you want me to do a really intensive 6 month ahead moon water crystal protocol, and just like what moons to like let things go and what moons to start. Sometimes it could be a new moon, but the other transits are like, no, not a good time to start. There's details. Astrology is about the layering. Astrology is about the details. And so this would be for membership. I would do that video, and the lowest membership starts at $3 a month. So if you were thinking of it, that's what I would be planning for next Saturday. Okay. Shall we get into it? Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to look at the transits. So the moon was new in Leo. It has since Thursday moved into Virgo. The moon's going to change like every 2.5 days. So this week we start with the moon in Virgo, and we will end up with it in Scorpio. And it really makes some interesting, very dynamic squares, conjunctions, and interesting aspects and conversations. When we say in astrology, aspects, what we mean is conversations, is how those planets are relating to each other. If you have your moon in Virgo, 12 degrees or more, into early Scorpio degrees, or you have Sun or Ascendant, Venus, Mars, Mercury in any of those 3 signs between 12 degrees of Virgo, all through the degrees of Libra and the early degrees of Scorpio, you will have the moon kind of come and cozy up next to your placements. Keep that in mind this week, because when the moon comes in transit, it's going to influence your day. It's going to influence your emotional center. And so we have a couple of really interesting moon Mars, moon Jupiter, and moon Venus this week. So there is some intense energy, and know before you go into the transits is really great, because that helps us know. Listen, I look at my transits in the morning. Sometimes I forget. But if I'm doing this every day and I know my own chart. So when I know that like Mars is coming for my Mercury, especially if it's going to square my Mercury, or if there is another transit possibly where it looks like it's going to do, has to do with my children. I'm going to make sure that I take a deep breath before I open my mouth that day. That has helped me a lot. I also know my kids' charts. So I know if they are having a challenging transit, I'm going to take whatever comes from them energetically or pragmatically out of their mouths or actions with a grain of salt that day. I can also help to be support for myself and support for those I love. I can also have a little bit of anticipation of like, this day is not the day to go driving all over town. This day is not the day to have a big talk about anything with anyone. So that is the point of looking at the weekly astrology. And while appointments are great and they're very personal, it should be both. Just knowing week by week, day by day, week by week, it's easier to kind of like, break off a little piece and just deal with that. So let me pull the chat up here. Pop out the chat. Hey, Zoe. Hi, Kate. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Alicia. Pop out the chat. Okay. Hi, Anastasia. Let me get back to, there we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm literally dealing with about 4 screens at one time. So, and making sure they're all helpful and supportive to you understanding and having visuals on what I'm saying. Hi, Adva. So we start out today. This is today. This is right now. So the moon is in, not really having a big conversation with a lot right now, because it's in this semi-sextile with the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is still going to be in effect all week. We're still going to look, this is time to re-examine what we say out of when I say ego, I mean identity, how we identify what we needed to survive. A lot of this could be things coming up. I've had a few things come up, both me and interactions with others, where a survival response came up, and that comes up so we can examine it. Most important thing is, if something comes up, we're not shaming ourselves, we're not judging ourselves, right? So that Mercury retrograde is having this kind of really weird whisper of a conversation with the moon today, especially now as we speak. And the moon in Virgo wants things to be the way they should be, not out of control freak. Virgos don't need things to be exactly how they want them or exactly how things should be perfect. It's more of Virgo feels the need for service. There's a weight, there's an ethical weight that Virgo placements carry. And as a Virgo rising and a couple other placements, I can concur and confer that there is an ethical weight. The the desire, the inner motivation for Virgo to hit that bullseye when executing anything, whether that's a conversation, a task, a service, whatever it is born out of the ethical weight of wanting things to be right because it's supposed to be for the good of all. So when the moon is in Virgo, we may feel like we don't want to do something unless we can do it 100%. And with that Mercury retrograde, there's just a whisper. And if we want to listen to it, we can. It's not a very strong transit, the semi-sextile. It's 30 degrees apart. It's not a very strong conversation. So when there's a semi-sextile, it's what I like to call a whisper. And if you're not intentionally looking for the whisper, you may not hear it. And so in our consciousness, holding our consciousness, walking into this Virgo moon for the next day and a half, we want to make sure that we definitely aren't being hard on ourselves. We're not holding back from something that needs to be done in fear that it won't be perfect. And again, that's not about control. That's not about a Virgo placement or the Virgo moon in transit that affects everybody right now, needing to be perfect, needing to be better than others, needing to be able to do it better. It is about the ethical weight of the service, and also Virgo placements and the Virgo moon sometimes feels like that service is in barter as an insurance policy for someone's respect, for someone's care, for someone's love, for someone's approval, right? And so the Mercury in retrograde in Leo is also helping us to deconstruct. Now, again, it's not a strong conversation. It's probably not going to show up in your external world. But again, it's the moon, and it's just a semi-sextile, and that Mercury is in retrograde. If you want to use this energy today to sit with yourself and examine and look, where do I overserve because I feel like that guarantees my place in that person's life. It quantifies the worth of being treated well. So that's just something just for today. At some point, if you have any quiet time, to just look at that and write it down. Think about it, write it down. And how you can let that go. Maybe that is something you absolutely needed as a survival tool for your early environments, and you just don't need it now. The other thing that's happening today, besides and all week long and all month long, besides the Mercury retrograde, is this incredible conversation between our four slowest planets. Pluto is in a separation from opposing the sun, so that's a little relief, but it is still 100% making that trine, the I love you more conversation between planets to Uranus here in Gemini. And it is also having a sextile, which is a harmonious 60-degree angle to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. So all of our outer planets and Saturn, which is the slowest of social planets, having this strong conversation is shifting things on the outside. It's bringing things to the surface. It's bringing things to a bubble and a boil. And with that, like a rolling boil. And that is supposed to get our attention. That is supposed to make us rise. That is supposed to make us bring in the change. If the way that we were used to bringing in the change no longer works, let's say, I don't know, voting in a fair election, then at this juncture, all of this energy, the organized transformation of Pluto, rethinking how are we organizing as a group, as a collective in Aquarius, the truth telling, we're not messing with our words, we're just going to show you the video, we're just going to have this tape, we're going to have this recording, that Neptune in retrograde, which is just popping all fog, and with that Aries sword, Coldplay Kiss Cam, but it's going to happen in other places. And that Saturn, that self-actualization, not to prove, not to have Vaseline and sneakers on, but to be effective and to be fair. And all of that with another way that we're going to bring in change. That's also going to happen within us. And when that moon, and let me show you this, these cats wait until I am on camera to fight in another room. Let's just animate the clock, shall we? So as we go into tomorrow, we're going to have Moon Mars. Then on Tuesday, we're going to have the moon in a grand trine with Pluto and Uranus. What I want to say for tomorrow, everybody, is this Moon Mars in Virgo is probably and possibly reluctantly making you there could be something that triggers you, something that angers you, something that you just feel is not right. Nikki, I'm in the office. You're not alone in the house. Nikki, I mean, I don't know if you all can hear him. He's yelling hello. He's walking through the house yelling hello. That Moon Mars in Virgo is anything that's not right or under your skin could come up in emotions. Now, with Mercury in retrograde, it really depends on where Mercury is in your chart or other things are in your chart, whether this comes all the way up or whether you stew on it. I am not suggesting that that is a day to have like the conversation with anyone. This could be a little tense, okay? It might be a little tense. It's also having a sextile. Sorry, it's also having a square with Venus in Gemini. This is, you know, the Moon Venus square can be very nice. In this mutable square and with Mars attached, this could be a very passionate moment. And if any of you have a partner with Venus or Mars in Virgo, good for you. Well done. It's going to want to make sure it hits. Like this could be a very passionate, it also could be a very eruptive moment. And so don't be the stew pot, because what these two signs can do in a square is kind of ruminate in its head and let the emotion build up with the moon here and Mars here. And if there is not an outlet for the feelings, go find a rage room, go listen to music with headphones on, go do whatever you have to do to like get it out of your body. I would be surprised if Tuesday people aren't like feeling it viscerally within them internally. Okay. As we go into Tuesday, this is where the moon is going to move in to Libra. And we're just going to go back a couple of hours when it is very early in the morning on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, this is going to be like 11 a.m. in Europe, and it's going to be middle of the night. So hopefully, unless you're out very late on the West Coast, this is when we're going to have that grand trine with the moon in Libra, things that feel unjust. You might want to change in your life. You may have this feeling also leading up. So it could be Monday night into Tuesday where you are just feeling like, I don't want to take this anymore. I don't like, this isn't fair. Maybe it's everything going on right now in the world and you're seeing images. And we know that we are at level 5 starvation over in Gaza, and that cannot be undone. And they have all those people held hostage right now, and it could be a collective, this is not right. It could happen in your personal life. You could end up writing a letter to your local representative, but the feeling of there needs to be change about this injustice, whether that be for you as a human being out towards the collective or just in your internal private life, this could probably come up late Monday and then be kind of a subject into Tuesday. Because this is big air energy. It's gonna want to move, and it's gonna want an outlet. Then as we get into Wednesday, now we have this sextile from the Mercury retrograde to the moon. This is where, if we were afraid of being seen the wrong way, we may speak, might internalize it. This would be a good day to write things down. This would be a good day to re-examine how to tackle a situation with diplomacy and without ego. If there is any situation in your life, Wednesday may be a good day to like script it out for yourself, to sit with it and to act on it with diplomacy. It may also be a conversation that already turned into an argument or a fight that can get rehashed in a way where people come to the table without ego and with diplomacy, which may not have been the case the first time. Okay, now here we are on Thursday, and we have a couple of things happening. We have Venus now moving into Cancer, which is going to square that Aries, Neptune, Saturn conjunction. Truths about our own lives, truths about anything that needs to be kind of moved. Let's move out of the middle of the night here too, though, shall we? So with Venus having that square, and it's applying square to Saturn and Neptune, self-actualizing and feel it and taking responsibility for who you really want, money, the people you feel protective over. That, I mean, it's an intense week. This could be a really beautiful day as well, because Scorpio also is the moon's going to move into Scorpio. So mid-afternoon, early morning and late evening in Europe, early morning in West Coast, and mid-afternoon on the East Coast, there could be a moment with ourselves, with the moon in a trine, and I love you more with Venus. This feels really deep. Wherever you were doing this because you didn't want to see, I don't think that you can sit in that during these days. I don't think you'll be able to. Wanting to live in full authenticity and truth for what you want on the deepest soul level may come up internally for you on Thursday. Then, we have a square from the moon on Friday to that Mercury retrograde. If there's anyone you feel resentful towards, vengeful for, unless it is something that 100% that if you let it all go, that you won't regret it later, I might work that out for yourself before having any conversations with anybody. This is another day where there's some really beautiful aspects, and also we may want to be careful. I mean, it's in a trine with Jupiter, the Scorpio moon, which is real quiet and deep, but with that Mercury retrograde squaring it and challenging it to say the things maybe that it has reworked in its mind, sitting in its own juices. Not saying that Scorpio moon does that. So this is a very interesting week. We still, Venus does not move that fast. It's still in this weird semi-sextile with Uranus. It's still in the square. It's going to be in the square for a while. And also it's in this quincunx with Pluto. Doesn't share anything in common. It's going to challenge each other to learn from each other. These are a few interesting days. And then we end the week with the moon, making a sextile to Mars, the moon in Scorpio, making a sextile to that Mars in Virgo. It may not be out loud, it may not be publicly, but this is a day that you could reach deep and start moving things to go get what you want. I said last week, it was strategy. This is big strategy. Mars is strategy. Mars in Virgo is chef's kiss strategy. The moon in Scorpio is going to want to move quietly. This week is really not about interacting with others as much as it is sitting and looking, where am I truthful? Where do I lie to myself? Where do I just pretend this is going to get better? Where do I need to have agency to make it better? How do I need to strategize for myself? Let me sit with my feelings. What do I not need anymore? This is a week that if you meet it instead of avoid it, life-changing in all the best ways. Life-changing in all the best ways, and also, just so we're clear, when we have the moon here too, that Jupiter is going to magnify the deepest desires and what we feel is ours to claim, and maybe we haven't claimed it yet fully. Okay, let me grab the chat again. Okay. Yeah. I love Dylan Thomas, and I love that poem, "Do not go gently into the night." I have no intention of to with my Aries moon, but yeah, we are about to enter an era where, if we want the self-examination, it's not to say you're the root of the problem. When astrologers or anyone else is telling you to sit with yourself or self-examine or see what you don't need anymore, or check into your ego/identity, which is really just your survival tools, that you needed in an early environment that you probably grew out of because the one constant in life is change. We are not saying it, hey, it's you're the problem, it's you. We're not telling you that if you're having issues in relationship or you're having issues anywhere else, that you probably need to that you're the root, right? That it's not that. It's that the more time we sit with ourselves, the more time we can understand what we can release, so we can move forward in a way that lets and allows us to live our best life. And sometimes that's uncomfortable because we have to create new boundaries, or we have to say things that we don't want that smoke, or we don't want conflict with people. Sometimes in your best relationships, and that is such this is how magical astrology is. In a text with a friend today, the conversation came up about relationships and needs. And if we feel really good in our own skin, we're more likely to communicate our needs to somebody who matters the most to us. And it's really beautiful when you do that in a way that's not mad. You didn't stew in your own juices, and you have the right people in your life. Because that's another thing to examine this week, is that most people who are meant to be in your life will be happy to meet those needs for you. But if you haven't communicated them, they probably associate your needs with what their needs are, because unless anyone's communicated differently, right? And you might be associating what their needs are based on what you need. And those are probably two different things, because that's just not how humans human. So that being said, let's pull some cards. We're going to get into Aries through Pisces, and what I'm going to pull for this week is the same. One card for internal and one card for external. What can you move to help this week go smoother and eat and leave no crumbs? And what might be coming in to support that you should be on the lookout for? And maybe we'll pull a third card on, something good coming your way this week also, since it's so intense. The other thing that I would like to do is remind everybody that we will be live Tuesday at noon Eastern for Shauna to do readings. Shauna, if you could send me your link on text, then I can transfer it since I'm on my laptop. Mercury retrograde. So getting all the stuff and then having to redo all the stuff, of course. So I'm going to pop her link in the chat if anybody wants to check out her links prior to the live on Tuesday. I think she already has a list for Tuesday. I have a feeling she's going to be very popular. She also does have a half an hour, and I'm happy to promote her here. I would not have her on the channel if she wasn't real, ethical, and if I did not believe, and she's weirdly accurate, extremely accurate. So I'm happy to promote that, and I just want to pop that link in before I start and lock in to everyone's guides. Let me find the chat again. And Shauna, if you could just send that in the text, because that's what I have access to. I don't have access to the other form of messaging. And then I can throw that in, because the old link doesn't work, obviously, because it got corrected. So we're going to be looking at what things that you can help move for your sign for this week's energy. And then we're going to look at something that might be coming in to support, or something you should be aware of. Then we're going to look at like something good that could be coming in for you. Okay, there is Shauna's link tree, and you guys can check that out, and we'll be live on Tuesday. Okay. If somebody wouldn't mind taking timestamps, I would appreciate that. Thank you, Juan. Okay, Aries moon, sun, rising. If Mars is your final dispositor, if you want to know what a final dispositor is, that's a membership thing. I think we have a video in there for that. Or if you have a lot of first house placements, what is the thing that you can help move out of your own way to make this easy an easier week? What's the best, most impactful thing for you to observe, look at, sit with? Yesterday in membership, I did tarot readings for any member that was able to pop in the chat, and for two that emailed me because they couldn't make it. That's the kind of stuff we do, and so you get personal, little mini ones, very quick little mini ones. But that's one of the things we do in membership. Okay. Slow down is the first thing I'm getting. We have the Chariot in reverse for you for what you can look at. So what are you trying to rush? What are you not allowing to just, because the Chariot is about universe, right? The, you know, the yin and the yang, the balance, but it's about universe coming in and making stuff move. You're supposed to relax and go and get in the ebb and the flow, to get in alignment and let universe take you when everything is aligned. When it's upside down, for me, that is slow down, like wait until you are, when everything is in alignment, when everything is, when we rush, we can sometimes miss things. And there is just Aries, they're asking you to just kind of like bring it back a notch, and slow down, because if you rush things, you will miss things. So I don't know what you're rushing. For some of you, I'm getting, it's like you really feel connected with somebody and things have not gone right in other relationships, and it's almost like you need the confirmation, or you want to rush to the point where there's maybe commitment, or there's a commitment from that. You want something else to be solidified and written in blood before it's ready. And just not because it's not going to happen, but because there's just adjustments to be made that are important for later, for the success of the continuation. And with Aries, Saturn and Aries in retrograde right now, it is time for Aries placements to slow down. Okay. What might be happening this week? What should you be on the lookout for? There's a big change. Something is a chapter. So when I have the wheel, it's like you move the wheel. You also move the world. Both are round. They can be moved. When I have the world here, to me, that's like a closing of a whole book. So if something maybe that you weren't expecting shuts down, and you no longer have access to it, just know that the world card is a beautiful card. So if that happens, it's in your highest good. It's probably to release you from something else. Next week, we have a full moon in Aquarius on the Lion's Gate, and I may do just a video about that, a public video. It's intense. It'll probably look intense on the outside. Lori Rivers for that. But in our personal lives too, there could be a lot of shifts that may have to do that. This may be towards the end of the week for you, Aries. What's good? What's good that's coming in? What's good that's like supportive? Oh, two cards came out. Okay, we have somebody who's like good with their words, and it's a mature mental energy. It's a mature somebody who knows how to use their words. Even when they're mad, they know how to use their words. Both of these have authority. This could be somebody who is in the spiritual community that has done a lot of work. I'm almost getting either somebody who's spiritual, but also kind of specializes in like the communication, either between you and your guides, or communication, like kind of like as an elevated art when you are having a response and not a reaction, which also would seem kind of great for an Aries to come in contact with someone like this. Or they are very much an Eastern philosophy person. It's funny because I'm an Aries moon, and that is where I lean towards. Not all of it, but so that is what I have. So this is either like a mentor you're going to have access, or be able to like go watch somebody do a speech or something. And it's going to be very helpful and supportive to you. Okay, let's look at Taurus. Taurus, what is the thing that you can move or be aware of, sit with, that's going to help you? Knight of Pentacles, more like slow down, move too fast. With this Knight of Pentacles, I'm going to say for half of my Taurus community, this is you moving too slow on something because, slow and steady, that's great in bed. But sometimes it's too much of a hesitation. You might be moving painfully slow on something because in the long run, you want it to last. And again, sorry, the Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, you like it, I love it. Your guides will get you the message they want to, and or second house placements. Taurus does, hi Hannah, it will tend to move a little bit more slow, but if you get the Knight of Pentacles out of what to move out of your way, I don't think it's slow down. This Knight of Pentacles, he's not even, that horse is at a standstill. What I'm getting to is it might be something that you're hoping that you could move out of the way, but know that somebody else will move out of the way. Okay. Yeah. You're hoping somebody else will be the bad guy. I just heard Billie Eilish. I'm the bad guy. Do, 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 do. Yeah, you're just gonna have to move the thing that you don't like about your life instead of waiting for somebody else. Also, that's gonna send universe like the signal that you don't want to sit in things that don't make you deliriously happy. Don't forget, whenever we make moves, whenever we make change, whenever we meet the moment, whenever we actively do what we have to do internally and not blame external or look at or wait for external circumstances, to step in to something more authentic or happy or whatever for ourselves, it is a whisper of saying to universe, more of this, please. My action, my quantum energetic signature, the molecules and the way that they move from the inside to the outside are all sending a signal. This is what I'm looking for, more of this. Whether you're saying more of this or not, that's what it does. And when we stand still in our discomfort, it tells universe more of this. Just discomfort. Don't get mad at me for saying that. That's quantum mechanics. Okay. What is the thing? We're not quantifying it, whatever that you're just not expecting this week. The external circumstances that might come up because of the astrology. That was twice something popped and sit back in. Okay. Forest placements, there could be a either very just mature person or a female figure that is not being as enthusiastic about something. This is a very interesting. These two popped out together. It's the Queen of Wands in reverse and then the Six of Wands in the upright. Whether this is a person, whatever this is, you're happy for it, and this feels like a win. It might not feel like a win in the beginning of the week because I think for a small group of you, you're going to have to go, and Taurus likes to, that's the redwood, firmly planted. Something that maybe have met your energy before, that Queen of Wands would have very proactively met your energy, Taurus. And I'm getting, they're going to hold back. You still get to conquer this, or someone that you're very glad to have moved out of. This is, I feel like this is threefold, because I feel like there's either the one thing where you're going to have to be more proactive, but then as soon as you do that, you win. Like winner, winner, chicken dinner. But for some of you, that this is a person that you'll be happy to see kind of go. You may feel less passionate about this person or this thing, that once you release that, once it feels like you were stuck on it, which is not shocking for a fixed sign like Taurus, fixed earth. Once you release the internal feeling of having any desire for this situation, person, task, whatever, all of a sudden it's like such a release that you're so happy. So that might be the internal observations that we talked about in the astrology part. If you're only watching the signs, please go for the tarot, please go watch the astrology part. It is important so that you know what we're referring to here. And it's a big week. I doubt moving forward, when we get into September, I probably won't take as long to go through the week's astrology, to do the little weekly forecast, because there won't be so much happening at once. Okay. The other part of you, this is somebody who was like hell bent on either like, I don't know, like making your life, I hate to say miserable, because we can choose who stays in our lives to make us miserable, but sometimes there's other extenuating circumstances. This is just, sometimes Queen of Wands upside down is the third party leaving, or it's triangulation on its way out, and there's a celebration about it. That could, if that feels really personal to you, I do have tarot readings on my website. That feels like it's a big story. This feels like a big week for Taurus placements. Okay. The good thing coming to you. Your gifts may come in a little bit this week, Taurus, but somebody is going to come to you with truth you didn't go looking for. Yep. It's going to keep you from making another commitment or another move that you would have made without this information. It's divinely guided. It's falling on your lap because your guides are going to put it there, or you're going to have, like, if you already are using your gifts, it's going to come through like that, but it may come in the form of like a person you didn't mean, like you would never thought you would be next to in the grocery checkout or something like that, and having a conversation, overhearing something or whatever. This information comes to you and it keeps you from investing or continuing on with something that was no. There's a lot of liberation for Taurus, which is always big for Taurus this week. All right, let's look at Gemini. Let's look at Gemini. Okay, this is kicked. Naked deck. right away. Ooh, the Fool, Gemini. So we love the Fool. We love the Fool's journey. That'll be in my tarot class because that's so important to understand that. Gives you depth to your reading. Gemini, you have Uranus in your sign now. Venus is leaving your sign, but you also have Pluto in a trine, right? Especially if you're early Gemini, like late May people, especially late May or like early Gemini moon, if it's not your sun, or early Gemini rising. You know, the Fool is about to take a leap and trust fall into universe. And it's saying be aware of how often you do that. And you do it with flair, and you do it with like, it's okay. I gotta check out this other way to do things, or I have to, Gemini is okay with the duality. But there is a sit with how, as a mutable sign, what can you stay committed to like actually deliver you what you want, rather than like cut loose and go on a different adventure because you're bored. I would say, like, relationship wise, the best way to keep a Gemini that you are crazy in love with, make sure you do not bore them. Don't cut and run so quick, or don't go leaping without looking because you're just bored with something else. Okay, this is amazing. Something you've been waiting for, that you maybe Gemini placements that you thought, this is just not on, this is not on my bingo board. Like, universe, life has made it very clear that this is not coming for me. This person, this situation, like, that ship has sailed. It's coming back. Or something you thought like unrequited is now available, or something you weren't paying attention to is now coming back, and you can see it, and it's like, oh, that's the thing I didn't know I needed. This is a very good card. This is a very good card. Okay. Let's look at, not gonna lie, Maricela sent me perfume for my birthday. I got amazing gifts from everybody on my birthday, but Maricela sent me this perfume on my birthday, and I sprayed it on this like last week because I just like throw this on sometimes. Doesn't ever really get dirty, so I wash it every other 3 times I wear it, and I can still smell. It's that strawberry marshmallow. I'm so obsessed with the smell. I made my own strawberry and marshmallow oil, so I could put it in everything. But this is like an Arabian oil based perfume. It's really long lasting, which is what you get with Arabian oils. It's called Pink Blush before somebody else, and it's in a square pink bottle, and you get a lot. It also makes me hungry though, because I smell good enough to eat. And I can smell that. I'm the only one smelling it, but okay. Ooh, okay. The good thing coming. Gemini, if you have felt out of sorts, maybe you felt especially if you're Gemini rising, I'm getting, this is the 9 of Cups. This is the self-love. This is my favorite way to get 10 of Cups, is to get this where you have so much self-love that somebody just offers you that one ace, that one cup, and that makes the 10 cups, because then if they take their cup away, you still have your 9. This is also wish fulfillment. which also coincides with this forecast. So whatever it is that you want to like cut and run, that you're not either having patience or you're bored about, don't just sit a little, like watch how that patience or that redirecting of energy pays off. Ooh, Gemini, that was a good reading. Cancer. What's your sign? I'm a Cancer. Cancers. King of Cups and the World already showing in the shuffle. Let's see what this is. That was weird. And the Queen of Cups. Ooh, you got a royal couple in cups. I always laugh whenever Cancer gets this because I would like to say that I don't relate as a Cancer, but I fucking do. Why are they telling me to take my defenses down? What is that? Okay, so sit with where you're putting your defenses up. It's probably not you're being defensive at people so much as that you are guarding your emotional centers so much, because while cancers are mushes, they also are so protective because they know how vulnerable that like underbelly is that's not protected by the shell. So they are usually very, very, very selective, picky, like, and just it's not like they sure you can be defensive too, but I mean, this is that Nine of Wands is about like the dance of like, I want all of that. I want to merge. I want to have intimacy, right? They're like Scorpio like that. And also don't really trust anyone. So to do the dance, you got to put your shoes on and go to the fucking dance. I don't know. Like, so that is the card. Now, the good news is someone you haven't heard from, you're going to hear from. Or this is something happening. So whether it's somebody you don't want to hear from or whether it's somebody you do want to hear from, you will be hearing from somebody that's been a little quiet. The good news is we have Temperance. If there was a situation, don't say my parents went on a week's vacation. Don't do it. Don't do it, Suzzy. And don't say, yo, I'll solve it either. Okay. If there's a situation that feels like way out of balance and it's like almost like, how do I get these snakes back in the can? I don't know why they're showing me. It feels like snakes that pop out of the can. I don't know if you ever try to, I'm old. We used to have those. Just imagine that you have snakes that got out of the can and you have to shove them back in and close up the thing. It's very, very hard. So it's whatever the analogy is for normal people that are not old, that would make sense for you. That's what I mean. There, you're going to be able to contain and balance something that feels like chaotic right now. That is coming in. I think that's coming in towards the end of the week as well, Cancer. Not a bad reading, but like, you know, what do they say about Lotto? You got to play to win. That's it, the defenses are up. There may be something that you feel really defensive or lived experience about that you don't have to be as concerned as you are right now, and examine whether that's just self-protection to stay in the crab shell. Leo, it's Leo season. Happy Leo season. I think we have a bunch of like Leo moons and Leo Venus in this community. Okay. Leo, deconstructing from things that you were given as early, especially where it's like this person gets your respect because this is their position in society or in the family line, rather than like has to treat you in a way that is respectful. So then you also respect them back. That is something like my mom used to have this thing where if somebody had like more education or more money than you, then we're supposed to like never be impolite, even if they're impolite. Like you would never argue with a doctor. That would be disrespectful. Well, if the doctor is wrong or rude, I'm gonna argue, right? So like I'm gonna say like, hey, yeah, no, that's not cool. I proudly fought with some of her dinosaurs of doctors. And in the end they told me I was right. But that is what you are deconstructing here, Leo, is like wherever you were early kind of trained, influenced to, I almost want to say have reverence for people because of their position in society or with money, and to not shrink yourself down for those people because on the inside, they are human, you are human, you're amazing. And dimming your light is not healthy. No one said that you have to like, there's this misconception with Leo that Leos are like, let me block everybody else's light so you can see me, all eyes on me. That's not what it's about. It's just about being seen and heard in a way that makes you feel like your soul is understood. And so dimming your light for others actually becomes very unhealthy because it perpetuates a cycle that was probably not what you should have experienced in early environment. I hope that made sense. Okay. The Leo placements for house placements. Okay. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Leo, there may be, there's either like an off, like a small offer of money, or like, I'm going to start this and it's going to make me so much a month or whatever. Something might not pan out, but I feel like, especially if somebody asked you to invest in something, like, hey, let's take our money and have these printed and we'll sell them here or there, or like get a booth with me. I don't know. Somebody is asking you to make a small investment because it's going to turn, they're promising you it's going to turn into something big. I'm not getting that it's going to turn into something big. So just don't say yes to something like that right away. And what's the good thing? What can we look forward to this week from my lovely Leo placements? Oh, I love this. You're letting go of some big, oh, I love this. Okay. So letting go of some big attachment that you had internally, letting that go. Perfect week for that. And then there is some kind of celebration or reunion, or like you find, I almost want to use the word ministry. And if you know me, that is not a word that comes out of my mouth a lot. Like, but like ministry of women, like support of like, this is like honoring your own divinity. It really kind of makes sense with the first card too. Like the attachment that you let go of might be the first thing we talked about. And it moves you into, it's almost like, probably just for a couple of you, but you might have been, early environment taught you that like women are only catty, or like female, that can be true, but I mean also there is, society has also taught us to compete against each other, and that there's a person that you thought you were really in competition with that's actually in awe of you, and something happens and a conversation starts, and this just becomes like a very supportive, lovely relationship, or there's a reunion here for you. Not mad at it, Leo. Okay, let's look at my Virgos. We done? When I start getting 4 or 5 cards out at a time, are we done? Yeah, we're done. It won't even shuffle. We're done. Virgo. They were kind of like made out of paper. Whenever I think of paper snakes, I think of Wanderama, and now I'm dating and geolocating my childhood at the same time. Virgo, you're gonna get some kind of attention this week. You're putting yourself in the spotlight, or you are. I can feel the dysregulation for whoever this is. And as a Virgo rising, I'm also experiencing this a little bit. There is going to be maybe a couple of times this week where the subject matter is you. You're not advising on it. You're not helping fix a problem. You're not serving the situation. you are the topic. Stepping into that with balance and letting go of what it looks like to anyone else, and just having the participation and just letting yourself be in the spotlight, regardless of if there are mistakes made, is your, with the Virgo moon this week, that's your homework this week. That's what we should be looking at. What is coming in? By the way, anybody who emailed me yesterday, I got a bunch of emails, and I know that. I grabbed a snack, went in my room with my laptop, and I fell asleep harder than I've fallen asleep in years, with my laptop on, with the TV, everything. Hard. I did not know what day, what week it is. I kept having dreams that I was missing my appointment that I have tomorrow night. I was out. I woke up, and within 90 minutes, I was back asleep for another 5-6 hours. Then I was up. I did a whole bunch of stuff. I felt really good. Sat down after I ate breakfast. I was up from like 5 to 9:30, which is still 4 hours. Back out. It is, there's some stuff in my chart, but also it's the energy. And those readings yesterday were so insanely accurate. The ones we did in membership, they were deep and they were accurate to the point where I was saying words as someone was typing them. If you know, you know. And I think that I was also transmuting a lot of energy. I'm transmuting a lot of energy right now. And woo! So I'm just saying, give me a minute here. I will get back to every single one of those emails, and thank you for people who sent reviews. And you know, this is kind of funny because yesterday, one of the Virgos in our membership community got a reading, and I was like, somebody may come looking for money. There is a situation, Virgos, that you're in, and because you are of service, the perception of this may just be like, I get to be who I like to be and help. But there is a situation where there is not reciprocity, or if somebody is going to ask for something and say, they're going to pay you back, and they indeed are not going to pay you back. And again, just like for the community member yesterday, I'm not really getting that this is like a lot of money. But there's just some kind of disparity here, and to just be on the lookout, let it sit for a minute. Oof, yep. Whoa, let it sit, Virgo, and see if they're still asking for it, or if they get more desperate, or if they are more willing. Oof, yeah. The good news is there's a situation that's been uncomfortable or painful emotionally and mentally for you that's been going on for a long time, and that is going to get settled by the end of the week. When I tell you this has been a while, it's been a while. This is not something that just happened last week. This is something that you've probably been working on. And you might have been feeding or servicing it out of the goodness of your heart. And I think that you've been working on a long time with the not my circus, not my monkeys thing. And so this just gets finally out of your sphere. Not mad at that either. Okay, Libras. No, I could not stay awake. I thought I was screwed after 6 hour coma nap. I mean, it was one of those. And 90 minutes later, back out. Okay. Libras, what should you examine? Sun, moon, rising, seventh house placements. You like it, I love it for you. Please watch the astrology at the beginning, even if you're just here to like hop in and check your sign for tarot, because they are connected. And also, you know, the moon's going to be in Libra all 30 degrees starting tomorrow, starting very, very late Monday night into Tuesday morning. And so that is very important for you guys to know all the astrology that's happening with your sign. So please watch the beginning. You haven't something I feel like you're not starting or you don't feel steady on. I have an Ace of Pentacles upside down, which means if you're supposed to be examining that, something's going to just take time to grow, but it's here. Like universe is supporting it. You have to start it along with Gemini. Sometimes Libra can be a tiny bit indecisive. Because those scales, right? They want them to be even. They want things to be ready in the right way. Just and also a little self-doubt here to look at Libras. But universe is wanting to help with this stability, is wanting to help with starting something that can stand the test of time. And just look at where you feel resistance when you think of this is something I know I can start or I know I can do. And then I want you to like sit and breathe and meditate and feel where in your body you feel that resistance. So that you can get right. Like I always say, my friends who've known me since junior high, I have this thing where I say a blind man don't know his clothes don't match. Which is not the most sophisticated way to deliver that. But the idea is that what we're not aware of, we can't have action towards, right? So that's important. The thing that you may not see is that either this week feels challenging for your inner guidance, or I don't think it's that though. may feel draining for you, Libra placements, to go into that sphere a little bit. Don't overdo it is what I'm getting. And also for just for a handful, there may be someone that is that like person you go to advice or whatever, or somebody you hold in esteem. This could be a female, and you see little cracks about them. This also what I'm getting for Libra placements is that there is you've caught up. So somebody that you might have thought like, oh, one day I want to be able to do this or that, like this person, you realize that like, oh, I've caught up. It's a combination of seeing that this person isn't perfect, which is no one is. That doesn't make this person bad, but you're seeing them in their more human form than the, pedestal. I'm not a fan of pedestals. So that is just what it is. That's it, like, and whatever this is, it's good for it helps you to foster your own self-esteem. Okay. What is the good thing coming for Libra this week? Get one more with that for clarification, because that some cards just have, unless you're reading with it's the last card out or something, some of them have. Okay. Libras, you may have something to say, something to execute, something a way that you're working on your mindset, something. The power, the words I'm getting are going to be able to come. You're going to be able to say them direct. This is still, it's soft but direct. We have this gorgeous Queen of Swords here, which of course, with you being mercurial, even though you're an earth sign, with you being an air sign, but also Venus, this is like the perfect Queen of Swords card for a beautiful Libra. So you're going to be able to find your words. You may have been overthinking this or have had a little anxiety around this, but you're going to find your words. But still in that like beautiful Venusian way that Libras can be. Okay. Scorpio. What's shaking? How is it hanging? What you need to look at, Scorpio. And if you haven't, go watch the astrology part because it's important. The moon is also in your sign at the end of the week, and it's making some really interesting aspects, which is going to that deep, just the tip, everything under the iceberg part of Scorpio is really going to feel visceral. And you might be really in your body this week rather than you might feel the things that you don't allow to feel as much sometimes. Anyway, please take some time for yourself this week. I have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Really be observing about what works and what doesn't work and what you are bleeding for. That's, gosh, what I'm getting to make something work that on some level you're aware this just doesn't like it shouldn't, it's not working like it should. I'm going to show you this Eight of Pentacles card. Do you see where it's like, here's the pentacle? Where's I got to put it by my face, which I hate, but let me get up nice and close. Do you see the hands? It's like the Eight of Pentacles should just be moving. It should be symbiotic, in synastry, in alignment. It should just be kind of self-operating. But these hands here, this came out upside down. Time to pull out your hands right? This may be part of a trauma response, part of a proving something, part of it's just what you've always done because it's felt like, you know, mode of operation for survival, and you don't need it anymore like that. Take your hands off the wheel, and if things aren't working, I'm not talking about like relationships with your kids. I'm not talking about your car breaks down, don't go get it fixed. I'm talking about things that you are, there's that saying about like certain things shouldn't be forced. What is it, like ponytails, yoga pants, and relationships? It's that kind of like, what are you draining yourself, bleeding out for is the term that I heard. Okay. What else? What's happening that you may not be expecting? And we're not quantifying that. Let's just see what comes up. Ooh, we have Empress energy here. So this could be a new idea, a new thought, a want of a new start. This may involve another female, or you could be that female. There's lush, full bites out of life that comes with this card. It's also very mystic. This is like something you can't, it's like, so the contrast of this being something that is not in alignment for you, that you've been just, if you took your hands off the wheel, it would stop working because you are the thing that's trying to make it work. And then we have this one, which is, this is the ultimate in giving birth to. It's so fertile, it's so lush, it's so aligned, it's so divinely, like, just kind of, it just is, and it's easier. So that is going to come up for you. That may just be an internal realization between the two. You might have to take your hands off the wheel for one, for the other one to come in. Scorpio, I just keep getting like this is something you like, it's craving, it's desirous, like in a good way, like can't get enough of it. That's the visuals I'm getting. I keep seeing somebody at a big giant banquet, like a la King Henry. Like there's just, this is, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of contrast. Okay. And then what's the good thing? That wasn't even the good thing. Wow. Okay. What's the good thing coming for Scorpio? Don't forget, the moon in Scorpio is going to go over the beginning of your placements next week. I assume for Scorpio is also going to be very interesting as the moon goes over the rest of the degrees. But you're going to have a trine with Jupiter. You're going to have a square with Mercury retrograde. You're also going to have a trine with Venus when it first goes into the moon. King Cups. This is extremely mature emotional energy. It's expressive. It's not dramatic. It doesn't manipulate. It doesn't, I actually find the King of Cups to be very Scorpio. It's like Scorpio at that like deep level, but expressive, feeling safe to be expressive. This is an incredible card. Just, I'm telling you, you've got aspects to Jupiter and Venus with the moon. Yeah. Something's coming back around. That has to do with the King of Cups. All right. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, the transformation card. Death card, Scorpio card is the thing that you have to, what is ready to be Phoenix, right? And I love this card because I always say Scorpio is the Phoenix. The Death card is about transformation, not just death. And we have this gorgeous Phoenix here, and it's aligned with the stars. There's the butterfly, there's the transformation, the chrysalis, and we have hands of universe wrapping around and an orb of light in this card. What is ready to die down to be transformed, and maybe you're avoiding it. Now, I love some Sagittarius is fun as fuck, okay? Funny, big laugh, super knowledgeable, and in general, most of the time wants the best. You know, there can be other mitigating factors, but a lot of times, Sagittarius placements, depending, some yes, some no, will not take as direct of an approach to something. Like they don't want to have, they want a, you know, they don't want to have to deal with something that could be unpleasant. Let's move on to bigger, better things. Let's like, right? You just, you have to be the agent of death for something that is overdue to die down so it can be transformed. I know that does not sound fun or colorful or philosophical or explorative or, you know, but it's there. We have the Two of Swords for something that you, and this may have to do with that, of course, but something that like you went back and forth and then finally used your intuition, becomes a very clear choice and not so much of a going back in between, before your head. Then the good news is there's some kind of upgrade, promotion. This could be upgrade in a relationship. This could be upgrade if you're traveling. This could be upgrade, new title. This could be upgrade journey. This could be, again, upgrade promotion at work, or you're able to give yourself a raise if you're in business for yourself. This could be an upgrade because you network with the right person and you get a bunch of exposure. But that is a really nice card. I love a Three of Pentacles. Let me upgrade you. Capricorn. Yeah, I gotta cook dinner. I got chicken that's got to get cooked tonight. So I cannot go into my room and lay down. I also have a lot of other stuff. And I owe somebody a phone call that I promised we scheduled. Okay. Capricorn, there's somebody who's really excited, really passionate, really strong personality around you. And at some point, it may have felt, this is very like the Leo reading where it felt like competition. And you may want to not, I'm sure whatever you're doing it the right way and the way it's supposed to be done. This person, either you need to like breathe new life into a project or something, or you need to allow somebody else to. I also feel like for some Capricorns, like this is so good for you and not to push it away. A little different. It's not the way that you would normally do things. It's not the system, but it's good. And you have to look at what your attachment is to the system, whether it's, you know, again, good, bad, and different. Okay. Nope. 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 Let's get, what else may you not see coming? Old sweetheart coming back, some really deep healing. This could be somebody you know from like elementary, junior high school, that kind of thing, Capricorn. You know them a while. Now, whether they're coming in to just give you that boost of that's right, that's who I am, that's who I used to be before life came in and fucked with me, or whether it's actually coming in like in a love situation, it feels like love, whether it's romantic love or not. This is a really, really, really beautiful card. That's not even what's your good coming. What's your good coming card? Of course, I would say that during Capricorn. Okay. Um, this may be relaxed. This exciting, passionate person that you may be like, And then you have 6 cups. Then you get like this kind of unconventional but happy situation. For some of you, something that held you back from moving into like staying stuck in a situation with a person or having an attachment to an old thing completely moves out of the way. Whatever this is like 10 of Cups came in sideways, which means either you're moving something out so that this can come in and this can come in, which are both really good for you. And then I got the 10 of Pentacles. I don't think you do this conventionally. I don't think if it's a get married again situation or whatever, but it is your happy ending, whatever it looks like to everybody else. I was not ready for that, Capricorn. Listen, for all my Capricorn friends, very happy for you. But there could be a detachment from one thing that just is what it was. Like I'm hearing cheaper to keep her. It could be cheaper to keep him, but yeah. And then like somebody that just makes you feel alive and feels right in all the right ways, all of it. That's a lot for one week. If I have any Capricorns listening, please let me know if that is all. Yeah. Okay. Aquarius. Okay. There is a situation where you are worried about having to gather the necessities and go. I don't think it's a nervous situation, Aquarius. I don't think you will have to do that. Or there's a situation where you're worried that somebody is lying, cheating on you, stealing from you there, and you find out that they are not, but you have to also sit with like how quickly you go into the disparate regulation of the betrayal mode from your lived experience. Because whether somebody is disloyal to you or not is not the thing that will heal that lived experience. That you can do that for yourself. That might come up, but the good news is like it's not worst case scenario at all. Then the thing you're not expecting is there is a 10 of Cups. Now, this can play out a couple of ways. You could have, if you have adult children, somebody could get engaged, somebody could announce they're having a baby. If you are of age, there could be talk about that, or like a settling in, moving in with each other, or just like making it official to other people. That could come up, but it also could be like your best friend or like someone very close to you. Let's see the good thing. That's interesting. Or, oh, I just got this. Only for like one or two of you, Aquarius, you're going to see the announcement of somebody together that you were like, okay, that ship has really sailed. or like they all said they weren't doing that, and I guess they were. That okay. The good news is there, whatever it is, see, I think this is all related. You win. You win. The triumph is yours. You have all the tools. The other people don't have the tools, Aquarius. You, whatever the situation is, you win. You walk away. There is still, again, this still goes back to like what makes you go right into the, hey, is this person lying? Is this person being because it's lived experience, but healing that. So you're not, because I'm feeling that it is not actually good for your health and your like mental, physical, emotional health. But you have all the swords. You can like you have all the swords. You have all the tools. You can kind of decompress. You don't have to be on ready, as I would say. Yeah, the sun. You have the 10 of cups and the sun here. Yeah, you can like decompress. This works out. It's like fully sitting in authenticity too, which Aquarius is really usually good about, but Aquarius is very good at problem solving and sometimes attracts people that can always have a problem for every solution. So they're very good at finding solutions, Aquarius, and then sometimes you attract people. And I think you're kind of done with that. And there's some like relief. Ooh, there's like some relief. And there's so much decompression. There's like weight off by the end of this week. Don't forget. So Mercury in retrograde is in opposition to Aquarius placements. And then on top of it, you're going to get that, you have Uranus in a trine. You're going to get the Libra moon in a trine, Aquarius, and then you're going to get the Scorpio moon in a square. So you have a lot of activation this week and the beginning of next, especially the beginning of next. Yeah. Okay. Pisces, where are my Pisces? Okay. Ooh. Okay. What you know about me? GLONE. Sit in the self-love, Pisces, and create ritual around it. I think that Pisces are used to having to create ritual to put up the boundaries. My whole body is big chill and a big chicken skin right now. I think Pisces are used to having to do like spiritual hygiene rituals, boundary rituals, connecting rituals. This is asking you to start creating at least weekly a ritual for like unabashed self-love, self-admiration. Indulge in the confidence. Is that a brown chicken, brown cow? You got the same card Virgo, which is your sister sign on the other side of the seesaw did for the middle card, which is careful of the inequities and disparities in relationships in your life. The big, and I mean, my whole body felt plugged into the wall. You have so many like, make sure I'm not feeling other people's stuff. Make sure I'm not being too nice. Make sure I'm not being too shy. Make sure I'm not shutting down. But there's nothing that all focuses on what you feel like you lack in. And there should be a bigger focus on what you fucking excel in. And why, without trying, without quantifying, without doing anything, that you feel incredibly grateful just to be you, and that there should be this like unabashed self-love. They're showing me, I don't know, there was like an old Vine or an old YouTube, it was before TikTok, of this little girl in the mirror every morning being like, and it is like the you is kind, you is important, you know, but there was this little girl who would say affirmations in the morning. And that's, of course, before we get all up in our social constructs and have people break our hearts and tell us what's wrong with us, right? But like whatever, it's a very spiritual ritual, and it's like communing. I keep using words I don't normally use today. Communing with your all of your guides, to, because I always say your guide, your spirit team, no one fans harder for you. No one has your back more than, no one loves you and thinks you are the shit up in this bitch more than your spirit team. No like human person will be able to do that at that level. So it's like in communion with your spirit team and doing this like without guilt, without feeling funny. It'll feel funny the first couple times, get it to be a ritual. They made me go back to that. Look at the despair. This is going to help you disconnect from the relationships where there is inequity and disparity. Let's see what's coming good for you at the end of the week. Mr. Panty Dropper or Mrs. Panty Dropper. But I don't know that this person is here for a long time, but they will definitely make you remember what all the parts do. I literally feel thighs getting hot. I feel like, and I don't think that anybody has pushed that button in person on your Wonka Vader in a long time. Pisces. And they may not be like the person, but they just, again, they remind you that that part of you exists. And of course, this self-confidence and the Venus moving into Cancer, which is going to trine your signs, is going to, this is going to work like a beacon. What do I always say? Venus is the antenna to which we calibrate what we think we're worthy of in abundance, love, money, whatever. So you're going to be feeling your, it's very like tweet, there goes, oops, there goes my, it's very still like, it is very phenomenal woman or phenomenal man. It's very Maya Angelou. It's very tweet. It's very, I know those are like so not the same, but it's that so much brings in this like Prince of Wands. And again, I'm not sure that this is like the person we're looking at this week. But it certainly reminds you that that part of you still exists and that those buttons should be pushed. I'm a big proponent of that. Listen, I'm a sapiosexual. You got to be intelligent. You got to be a good person. You know, I'm not just down to clown with anybody. You got to have good ethics. You have to have good, like all this. And all of that is great. And that can make for a really good, long lasting friend, because if you're not pushing those buttons on my Wonka Vader in that way, that like if you don't have the instruction manual to the brain that goes right to the thighs that way, and you can't do the whole, oh, they're good on paper and I just want to be safe in a relationship, because if they don't push those other buttons on your Wonka Vader, somebody will. When you're in the relationship with Mr. or Mrs. Good on paper, this is safe, that you will not want to hurt, but somebody will come along and go, boop, found your button. Okay. Make sure you're watching the astrology. Make sure you're tuning in Tuesday to Shauna. And that'll be noon Eastern. We'll throw her thing. in the chat again. Thank you for everybody that was patient when Mercury retrograde exploded in the microwave last Thursday. Obviously, that was not meant to be. Keep looking out for the first one will go out probably within 10 days for the $20 workshop, and then the layout of what it looks like at all the different levels, and then the level with the certification and all the spiritual development, because it will be everything. It'll be timing, how to read the cards together, and spiritual development, as well as ethics and how to really step into the client if you want to do it professionally, like professional development, and again with certification. So look out for that in the next couple of days. If you don't mind sharing is caring. It helps the channel a lot, even if you share it to your own email. I hope everyone has a good week. I'm gonna make my chicken before I sit down because I'm afraid of falling asleep again. I love you, know you love you, and I will see you all on Tuesday.